Steal away.
Yes, Lord.
Steal away to freedom. Oh, steal away. Steal away home. I ain't got long.
Yes, Lord.
To stay here.
Well,
I ain't got long to stay here. Steal away. Steal away. Steal away to freedom. Oh, steal away. Steal away home. I ain't got long. Stay here. My name is Adam. And I be the blacksmith on a plantation in the up part of this state here. Well, what you doing down here in Florence, you say? Well, my master come down here. Say he looking to buy up here some slaves. Say he find them cheap down here. See, my master be a planter in the up part of this state. Plant up cotton on his place. Round his place it be 139 of us. Myself, my wife, and our 5 children. 4 gals and 1 boy.
say what?
Boy look just like I is. Got the same face I got. Look like I just said, and he sprout out the ground like that tree. Look just like me, I tell you. Seps, my boy. Well, my boy got a great big old head, you know. Head so big, when he walk over, he about not fall over when he walk, you know. Head too heavy, it might not knock him down. But I tell you, all of that head that boy got ain't got a lick of sense in it. Yes, sorry. Round our place, our master tell our overseer, say, make sure all them slaves get their food every week. They ration be 3.5 pounds of salt pork and a peck of cornmeal, each one. Well, sometimes that don't be no enough. We get our ration on Monday. By the time Monday come around, sometimes us don't have nothing left in the cabin to eat. The only thing us had one time been a sweet potato, an onion, and some hot peppers. See, overseer tell us, say, you can grow yourself your own garden, but you can't grow in your garden what us got in our field. See, if he growing corn, us can't grow no corn. If he growing iced potatoes, us can't grow them. That be them little white potatoes there. Say, if you growing cabbage, you can't have that neither. Well, you looking at me like, well, Lord, what in the world can you grow then? Well, I tell you. Sweet potatoes. Mm-hmm. See, sweet potato come from Africa, you know. And we call them yam. That the African name for it. We can even grow okras. That there in that soup that you had there, calls that gumbo. And us can even grow peanuts. See, them African folk call them goobers. They good too. Well, one night all us had was that sweet potato, that onion, and them hot peppers, a heap of them. Of course, see, hot peppers grow a whole heap on the vine. Well, I say, how in the world is I'm going to feed my children and my wife and myself this here tomorrow on this? So I had to figure out a way. So what I did, then I had Big Jim that made me what called a rabbit box. Rabbit box be about that wide. They got a door to front that open and close, and the rabbit run off inside it, and he gets stuck because the door closed up on him. And so I take that rabbit box and I sit it to the edge of the woods there, the cabins, and I pray. Any of y'all out there praise?
Amen.
Did you always get what you pray for?
That's right.
You ain't. Well, it's cause you don't do it right.
Amen.
You want to learn how to do it the right way? Come in here, let me show you.
Yeah. Talk to her.
What's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda. My name be Adam. It's good to meet you. Don't tell nobody I touch your hand. Well, I tell you, come on around here so they can see your face and you can stand right here beside me. All right. So what I did, the way I prayed, because see, one time I prayed a whole heap and I didn't never get what I wanted.
Amen.
I was doing it wrong. So I learned a special way to pray. When you pray, you're supposed to take this foot, put it over that one, do it. I got you. I'm looking for. All right. You have to take these two hands here and hold them up in the sky and cross them fingers like that. There you go. All right. If you feeling like you're going to lean over, okay. There you go. Now, what you got to do now, take them eyes that the Lord gave you, and you look to the hills from where your help comes from and cross them so you can see your blessing coming from that way and that way. You got it? So you stretch it real big. All right. And now you say, send me what I need.
Yes, Lord.
Send me what I need.
Yeah, she need it. She wants it. Yeah, you get it. And that's what I did. Yeah, that's the way. All right, you can go on back. Clap your hands for this woman here. Yeah. But I tell you, I prayed and I waited. But I went to bed that night and I wake up the next morning and I realized I had to sleep real good that night. Because see, when you pray, you don't worry. And if you're going to worry, you may as well not even not pray. So I went on to bed and I wake up the next morning rested real good. Now, before the sun wake up, I peep out the door. And sure enough, that trap door been closed. I knowed I had me a rabbit. And I was just hoping I had two this time. Because one time I didn't catch two. Well, I messed around and I went and I kept my boy with me. I said, come on with me. Let's go on and get this rabbit out of here. And he come on following behind me. But he stopped just short of the rabbit box. See, he be a little scared too. And he say, Paul, I'll wait right here. So I just kept going. So I went on to the rabbit box and I eased to the box and I eased it up there on its back and I slide that door open and sure enough laid over in the box was something. He been gray like a rabbit, but he been gray and big, you know.
Oh, Lord.
Fill up the whole box. But I reckon the fox or something had to get hold to his tail because he pulled his tail long and pulled all the hair off his tail. He's sitting in the box like that there. So I pull him out and I look at him. And he been ugly. Woo! He look at me and I look at him. And he look at me. And he grin. Just as I've been laying him on the ground, he say, I hollered. Scared me to death, I reckon. Halfway, you know. I tell you. I hollered. But I reckon when I hollered, it scared him because he fell over like he been dead. Well, I take a stick and I wire right across his head, knock him cold and kill him. Well, I take that thing and I carried him up by his tail. And my boy seed me and he fell out in the ground crying and hollering. What you crying for, I say? He said, I ain't want to eat that. I said, why not? He said, cause, Paul, he face been ugly. I said, well, you ain't gonna eat his face, you gonna eat the meat that in him. But come on, let's clean him up. He fall out hollering and crying all over the place. I ain't paid him no attention. Well, reckon you know there wasn't no rabbit. What you reckon he was?
Possum.
Yeah, it been a possum. I take that possum and I clean him up, take that hair and that skin off him, you know, cut him up in little pieces and put him in the bottom of my pot there. And I take that sweet potato I had, put it on the top of that possum. And I take that one onion I had and I put it on top of that sweet potato and that possum. And I take 2 peppers. They been hot peppers. We call them fish peppers. They be real hot, you know. And you take 2, not 3, because if you take 3, it's going to burn you 2 times. When you eat it and then a little later on. Don't matter how much you cross your feet, fingers, and eyes, you going to burn. I call them living right peppers because they keep you out of hell's front door. I tell you the truth, though. Some of y'all laugh and make me think you ought to have been burned 2 times. I take that possum and I sit him by the fire and put just a wee bit of water in it. Because see, possum make your own juice. You call it grease. So I let him cook all day long while us been working. I take that possum stew when we get back. You could smell it before you get to the cabin. Time dinner come, we getting there. And the children say, "Ooh, Paul, you reckon we can get a wee bit?" I say, "Yeah, you can. But boy, you said you didn't want to eat him because his face been ugly. But Paul, he smells so good." I said, "Go on, we gonna eat then." So we went on and eat. Feed them children up real good. And I tell them, I say, "Was it good?" "Yeah, Paul, it tastes real good." I said, "Go on, clean up." Because them children had didn't eat that possum stew, so their face was greasy, their hands been greasy, everything by them just greased up, you know. I tell you, they clean up and they sit back in the floor, and I say, "Well, he was good." They say, "Yeah, it tastes real good." I say, "The same is true for peoples." My boy look at me and he say, "You eats peoples too?" I tell you, all that head, not a lick of sense in it. I said, "No, boy. Peoples look one way to outside, but you can't never tell what they like on the inside. You has to find the good in everybody, even if they do look like a possum." Well, I tell you, a heap of folk ask me, say, "Adam, say, what in the world you reckon could be the worst thing could ever happen to a slave?" See, every night I sit my children down and I teaches them things about life, just like my mom did with me. And one night my children asked me that same question. "Paul, what you reckon the worst thing could ever happen to us as slaves?" I say, "Well, that's a hard question to ask. What you reckon?" They say, "Well, Paul, it got to be the die." Another one say, "Well, Paul, no, it's got to be when we ain't got no enough food. That hurts, you know." Or they done seen some folk get beat on before. The worst thing ever to see. See, they take the strongest slaves sometime whenever they get new ones, and if they bucking up against them, they break some. They take that cat o' nine tail and they make a tree on their back right in front of all of us. They say that got to be the worst thing could ever happen to a slave, to lose who you is because somebody done beat it out you. I say, "Well, I ain't never died before, so I don't know what that like. But I tell you, if I died right now, I'll wake up free. Ain't too bad about that. Soon I'll be done with the trouble of this world.
Well,
I ain't worried about not having no enough to eat. Because if you look at me, does it look like I done miss a meal?" You calling me fat? I heard you back there. But somebody I can't see give me just what I need when I need it. My mom teach me something when I've been a little boy. Say, if you listen and pay attention, follow directions, you won't get in no trouble.
that's right.
So I ain't got to worry about getting beat on. I ain't never been beat a day in my life by the grace of God and by me listening to my mom. So I ain't worried about that. But if I had to tell you the worst thing could ever happen to a slave, I tell you it happened to me. 9 years old I was. We live in Virginia. One night my mom sit me in the floor. That the night she tell me, every night she say, "One of these days you're going to forget what my face look like. One of these days you're going to forget what my voice sound like, but don't you never forget these words." She would always tell me that. And I'd always say, "No, man, I ain't going to never forget." So that's nice. She said, always listen and pay attention, because if you do that, you'll learn something, and they can't take that from you. And you always follow directions so you don't get in no trouble. She put me to bed, and the next morning us wake up, eat our whole cakes and our fat back there. And just as we've been cleaning up to get started with the day, the missus called me from the big house. And I went running to the door to get out, and my mom stopped, and she blocked the whole door. The room get black. She been that big, you know. Take up the whole door. And she said, "You wait a minute." I said, "Mom, I got to go. The missus didn't call me." She said, "She can wait a minute." And she reached in her petticoat and she pulled out something looked like this here. I said, what in the world is you giving me a doll, baby, for? That been a little gas toy, and I ain't wanting that. She said, ain't no toy. It called a blessing doll. And blessing dolls, she say, always make you feel good when you're feeling bad.
Amen.
Blessing dolls, if you sick, they'll make you feel well. Blessing dolls will make you happy when you're sad. But most of all, my mom tell me, she said, a blessing doll will make you feel like I ain't never leave.
That's right.
So I put it in my coat there, and I went to run on out the door, but not before she kissed me right there on my head. Well, I went running to the big house, and I stopped just short the steps because the missus was standing over here, and this great big old ugly fat white man I ain't never seen before was standing on this side of the porch, and he ran back on his feet, and he looked at me and he said, your name Adam? I didn't move. I didn't say the word. The missus said, come on up here, Adam, let him see you. And I started taking a few steps, and just as I get to the bottom step of the porch, she stopped me. She said, strike out the running across the yard there and show him how fast you can run. So I ran fast as the wind. While I've been running, she said, jump and show him how tall you can jump. So I jump up and I grab the sun with this hand, the moon with this hand, and a few stars with my teeth, and I bring them down and I lay them at their feet. Now. And I stood there.
Yeah.
By this time, they had come down off the porch, and he walking around me, and he look at me. He snatched my hat off of my head, and he looking all in my mouth, and he look at the missus.
Oh, my.
He look at the missus, and he say, how much? It been right then that all the life I had in me leave at the bottom of my feet. She look at him, and she look at me, and she said, $300 the best I can do. That man buying me that day. Him didn't buy my mom. The last words I heard my mom say, been not my boy too. He carried me from Virginia all the way here to South Carolina. If my mom walks up right now, I wouldn't know who she is. Because I'd forget what her face looked like. If she called my name in the middle of the night, I wouldn't know who she is, because I didn't forget. I didn't forget what her voice sounded like. But the lessons that my mom teach me, I ain't never forget. It made me the man I is today. But one of the biggest lessons that I'll never forget, she teach me to love. Yeah. And she teach me to forgive faster than I hate. She said, because it's easy to hate somebody that treats you wrong, but it's hard to love somebody that do you wrong. But if you love the person that do you wrong, what you're doing is heaping coals of fire on their head. Yeah. Y'all is like my family. You has to make family quick. I ain't got nothing. Don't even own myself. I was worth $1,000. But what I got, I give to you. And that be my love. And before I go, I ain't got but two of these things here. And one of them to you. Come on here. Why are you picking on me? Or you almost fell over. But you look like you travels a whole heap. And as you travel here and there and everywhere, I want you to always remember the time that you spent with Adam. Sometimes people treat you wrong when you travel to places, don't they? And they treat you bad. But just remember, old Adam was treated bad a long time. And I don't get treated good every day. But my mom teach me that it's the good that you pull out the bad that make the difference. This blessing doll here just for you. And everywhere you go, don't you never forget the time that you spent with Adam. Don't you never stop praying. Because them prayers that you pray, they get heard. Even if you don't see the results of them right away.
I think you picked me for a reason.
That man with that hat on his head there. Yeah. You got yourself a heap of people that look up to you. And you makes a difference in a whole people's lives that you don't even know. As long as you live, don't you never stop telling your story. Sometimes people say, hush, don't say that. But you keep telling it. Because what you didn't went through in your life gonna help a whole heap of people not experience what you did. You're gonna help a heap of people out of a whole heap of things. But as long as you live, you keep spreading the same love that you got. And such I have I give to you. You walk in victory. Because it's your own. You all be blessed. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hallelujah.